Previously on the Farmers of Thought Show.
How do we make that gospel? Therefore, sing local songs, drink local food, and drink and dance to local beats and rhythms, and look like us, feel like us. Therefore, the gospel cannot be a ported.
Mara, Chigarambok, Kugaramashamba, down south, in the land, the black rain, bees, and endangered species.
In the corridors of time, 2020, here from Farmers of Thought down south. Welcome one, welcome all.
We are not for sale.
On behalf of the United Kingdoms of Africa, we say no to war. Africa for too long has been sitting on the sidelines of international politics. Our minerals are good, our human resources good. But apparently our voice has never been good on the Security Council. As we sit around and we wake up every morning here in Africa and we see the warlords of the East and the West gunning up together, fighting over titles and resources. The African continent continuously sits on the margins. And as we see the brewing war that is going to be taking place in the greater Middle East, it cannot be fair that the African voices continuously become silent. It is a fact which we know, that what they call global peace has nothing to do with global peace. It has to do with one nation seeking to make itself superior above all other nations. In the African kingdoms, we say no. It's high time that we also begin to be consulted in the affairs of the world and the global population. And therefore, those who are seeking for resources in countries which they might deem as inferior, it would not be right that force and warfare could be used as a tool of negotiating and finding peace in those regions. We've had the history of Hiroshima, we've had the wars of Vietnam, wars of the Serbians and Afghanistan, we've seen the killings in Iraq, the devastation, demolition of Libya, the continuous war of Congo, the unending barons of financial dealings in Angola, and greater of the Anglo-American companies and multinationals seeking total control over the African continent and using business as a medium. Therefore, we know by now that war is business. And as wars are raging high, there are some economies that are going to start going up because employment will be in place. We know there are countries out there who claim and tell us that they are superpowers, but they are not superpowers. They're just countries that are hungry for blood. We therefore want to recommend and speak as one voice in the United Kingdoms of Africa that it will not be accepted that we continuously have our minerals taken out of us and converted into weapons of mass destruction in lands where nuclear warheads are part of entertainment, threatening the global citizenry. Therefore, we cannot trust our welfare as Africans and the rest of the world in the hands of the Europeans and the Westerners. We say no to war. We say no to nuclear weapons. We say no to silence. And as Africa, we seek to join together and come up with one military base for the African greater continent. One army, one nation, one currency, one leader. This is the United Kingdoms of Africa, where we also look for our own forms of governance and how best we can lead and determine our own destiny. With those few words from Farmers of Thought here in South Africa, the voice of African indigenous knowledge, African indigenous movement, we say no to war.
Felix Mapanga Photography.